Welcome back to Pack Mentality. And today we have Coach Abdul on the podcast, our newest Red Wolf CrossFit coach. Are you excited to be on board?
Wow, you really just rip the Band-Aid off that way.
I did. How does that make you feel?
I mean, it makes me feel a little bit, pressured and like pushed really onto things. Just super duper, imposing on view.
Good. I'm glad you feel that way. He's laughing right now. If you guys can see that. I know you guys are listening. You probably think he's serious. He's not. So Abdul's on the podcast. We're going to learn about his CrossFit journey. We're going to talk about how we worked together in Gym Reapers Waterpalooza, Miami in 2026. And he was also, fun fact, a lot of people don't know this, but he coached at the very famous CrossFit New England. So we're going to be talking to him about that today. Abdul, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
So tell us first off, how'd you get into CrossFit in the first place?
Fire department.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Know that part?
I think I knew a little bit about it, but I don't remember. I don't know the specifics. So tell us that story.
Easy version of that is I was trying to join the fire department in San Diego.
Okay.
And
what year was this?
So this is 2000. Oh my God, 2009, 2010-ish.
Okay.
So I was like, school is really boring and I have too much undiagnosed ADHD to not deal with it. So I'm like, you know what? Let's try something different. And one of my friends was like, you like to work out? You like to train? Why don't you do a cadet program thing with me? And I was like, oh, let me try that. And then the training captain for one of the departments was like, hey, we do this fitness thing. It's called CrossFit. And I thought it was a, Jesus thing. And I was like, my name is Abdul Kareem. It doesn't usually, just
take the hint.
Anyway, well, he was very adamant about it because, it's a really good training program.
Right.
As we can see, how many years later? Almost as many years as the Fast and the Furious franchises.
20 years.
20 years. Fun fact.
Almost 20 years.
The other day, it was the 20-year anniversary for Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift.
Oh, that's my favorite movie.
Is it?
No, I've never seen it.
What is wrong with you? It's a great movie franchise. You should watch that. Anyway, short story on that is he got me into it. I kept doing it. One of my first workouts was Linda, the 3 bars of death.
Wow.
Yeah, and he was 225. I didn't know how to clean. So just like classic CrossFitters, and prideful kids with egos at the door, you're just like, I can do this. I can't do this. Oh no. But I still was addicted to it. What they used to say back in the day, drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, drink the Kool-Aid. People don't say that anymore.
Really? I mean, you just want to drink the...
Are we doing our plugs down?
NOCO
or Rain. Conflicts of interest here. I like it. So when you were down in San Diego training for that, at what point did you start getting into coaching then?
Not immediately. It was actually when I was training. San Diego had this thing called brownouts that was happening. So like the department that I was trying to get in with was not hiring, and a lot of them were starting to freeze things. So
okay,
it was actually really hard to get into the fire department at one point. So I ended up kind of lateraling in this kind of way where I joined the gym at the time. It was called CrossFit East Village. Yeah. And I had a really good friend there named Lee J. And he was like, I want to open a gym. And I was like, oh, cool. Let's see what you can do. And then after that, he's like, why don't you go take your level 1? And I was like, oh, all right, cool. Took my level 1. He took his level 1. And then we were just like, hey, what if we opened a CrossFit gym? When I said we, I mean he. And then he's like, he took me along with him. And then that's where Stay Classy CrossFit like kind of started. He came up with it when he was like on a flight back. He like had his little epiphany thing, and he's like, this is it. Stay classy.
Stay classy. Stay classy, San Diego.
It's surprising how many people don't actually realize that reference anymore.
Well, I mean, Anchorman came out, what, 2004-ish?
You're saying?
I mean, it's an old movie now. I mean, at the time, though, it was super popular. So, I mean, it has a nice reach. Stay Classy was awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So you became a coach at Stay Classy. What year was this?
2012, 2013.
Okay. So kind of like the golden days. Well done. Okay. I see. And I know at one point that you kind of moved on from Stay Classy and now you're back. So what was that transition like?
The transition was, as some CrossFit gyms know, or some CrossFit places know, like there was drama back in the day before it became like business oriented.
Yeah.
Much like, oh, he said, she said, he does this, she does this. And as much as most of us like try to stay away from all those drama pieces, sometimes you get caught up in it.
Yeah.
For me, it was a conflict of I wasn't doing too well within that kind of a space, so I needed to move on to something else.
Okay.
And it was just kind of a pivot in my life. But one of my good friends was running another gym called Outlier CrossFit. And he was like, hey, just come coach a couple part-time things. And then I ended up managing that space.
Okay.
So with the new ownership. So it was really cool to like, have multiple different opportunities that kept pulling me back in a way. So I don't think that it was, hard to transition to the next thing. And then I went into this exploratory phase of like finding like what makes me better as a coach, what makes me better as a personality, or like how I can like grow into things and grow into becoming better. Because at the end of the day, it was literally trying to make other people better, right? That's what we get to do as coaches. Either that or unlicensed therapists.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. Wait, let's not open up right now. I could we could talk all day about that, I'm sure. Okay, so how long were you at Outlier for?
Fudge. Between my stint there the first time and then I wanted to learn more education, maybe a total of like 8 years.
8 years. Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
So you worked your way just up from being coach to managing the entire gym.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then after a little bit, it turned into, all right, I want to get like more continuing education. I want to like grow more. And I was looking into different like programs, like NC Fit had a program at the time. Then afterwards, I looked into what at the time was like, fudge, just seeing if like Mayhem had something. And, they were like more or less like, oh, we're going to try to coach athletes more than anything else. And like CrossFit New England came up as like an internship. So,
so that's how you got into CrossFit New England.
yeah.
Okay, well, that leads us perfectly into that transition. So you were at Outlier for 8 years. Was there
8 combined. There's like 4-ish, yeah, whatever.
Okay, so you were at Outlier for about 4-ish. Then is that when you went on to CrossFit New England and then you came back later?
Yeah, I came back later because I had some family stuff come up and everything, and I needed to just kind of move on.
Get back to Southern California.
We'll segue back into the why, I guess, later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just say you were Outlier for 4, and then you got that offer or that internship offer from CrossFit New England. So what year did you head out there?
2000, like before COVID. So when was COVID? Oh my God, when was COVID?
2020.
Yeah. So like 18, 19? Yeah.
Okay, so right before it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got to be there for a little while. The internship was long and it was progressive. And I learned a lot about culture and community because even in some other place that wasn't, well, San Diego or California, it's just a different atmosphere of things, different atmosphere of people. They had this mantra over there, or this your value system, which they ran under happy, hungry, humble people who kick ass into their 90s. So that was a value piece that was kind of ingrained in you when you're out there. And there were a lot of people and that were living that lifestyle and that value. And it was super cool to see because, well, a lot of them were like 55 plus.
Wow.
And this was what, as I said, 2018-ish. And now it's 2026. To see that some of those people were like just doing muscle ups, bar muscle ups, ring muscle ups, and like snatching and clean and jerking. That was super impressive. Super impressive. Super. Oh, shameless plug. Supergirl movie's coming out soon.
So you were talking about CrossFit New England, and just so we can back up a little bit so people have context, I'm sure there's a lot of people listening who don't even know like what kind of legendary CrossFit gym that was back in the day and still exists to this day. But can you kind of explain to us, like, just for someone who's never heard of CrossFit New England?
Yeah. So CrossFit New England was the gym that Ben Bergeron has created. Ben Bergeron in our space of CrossFit, he's kind of an OG guy. Like if you know about like Again Faster, you know about Rogue back in the day.
Like old school CrossFit.
School, like equipment stuff and everything. He was like one of the first guys that like learned from Coach Mike Bergner. He was like, him and his wife Heather Bergeron like were some of the OG fire breathers, as you call it. And then the biggest claim to fame was like for him, he got the opportunity because he's a great coach to be able to coach Katrin Davis' daughter, a champion. He got to coach also like Matt Fraser, a champion. So he's had a lot of like those bigger accolades, but even some people don't know that his CrossFit New England team had like won a lot of their regions back in the day too. So they were a very strong and successful like team. So for that kind of context, that's what that is.
Excuse me. Yeah, no worries, no worries.
I'm talking a lot.
I need a good thing you have a beverage.
My Nooko is electrolyte beverage.
And buy it at the gym. Buy it at the gym.
Do it now.
So how long were you there?
Approximately a year and a half. I was there floating back and forth between, actually, fun fact, Invictus Boston.
Oh, Invictus Boston. That's when they acquired the Boston location.
That's when Reebok CrossFit One, I think it was called, was acquired by Invictus, and they needed videographers. And yes, one of the fun skills that I picked up, excuse my lozenge, was videography. I actually started like, Ben gave me a random assignment as an intern, was like, hey, I need you to like film these guys like Kat and Tori, and they're working out. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I've got a gimbal for my iPhone. And I put that together and I, threw it in iMovie, and then it came out as like a pretty good video. And then I was like, this is actually pretty cool. And one of my friends who was a videographer and photographer out there, he was like, yeah, you can borrow my camera. And I started playing with it, started working on it, started editing, started doing videos that way. And it just continued to snowball and grow from there. And there was another internship at Invictus, and I was like, well, let me try that. So I just kept bouncing back and forth and started
interesting.
with different passions and different things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
looking back now at that internship, what was the biggest thing that you took away in terms of like your aha moment from that internship?
even if you have all of the accolades, at the end of the day, what suits somebody else might not suit you.
Interesting.
That's a really long-winded way of saying it felt good to be amongst all of those people. Honestly, the community was amazing. That was a thing that like really drew me towards it, or kept me hanging out there in New England. But I'm a California boy. And apparently seasonal depression is real. And I'm brown. I don't know if some of you can't tell in the podcast land.
Yeah.
And I was actually having a lot of depression, and not a private conversation, but I'll bring it up because we're already talking about it. My father had lung cancer during my internship.
That sucks.
And I didn't know.
You didn't even know.
My mother had to yell at me when I was telling my dad I didn't like it here in the cold and the weather.
Oh,
I said, God, that's a dog.
I have lung cancer and you're complaining about the weather?
And that was one of those things too that kind of made me realize also as a value piece, you're not, you're supposed to also, a thing that was ingrained in me out there too was, hey, you don't need to complain. You don't need to complain about stuff.
Yeah.
And that lesson truly like hit home when my dad still took my phone call, still checked in with me, was doing that, and like having a hard time like coughing and breathing, and I didn't know it.
Right.
And then a few minutes later, my mom calls. She's like, your dad's in the hospital that just got surgery in his lungs, like, and all of this stuff. And
wow.
You're doing this. I'm like, oh, poop baskets.
Could have said it better myself. I got that one to the repertoire.
Yeah. So keep that for the kids.
Wow. So was that the issue that prompted you to come back?
Yes.
Okay. That was what I figured. Okay. So that prompted you to come back from CrossFit New England. Now, just out of curiosity, just to be controversial, what's one thing that you said, or a critique or something maybe you didn't like about your experience at CrossFit New England?
I think it's in the same way as I'm talking about saying like what suits you or what might suit others doesn't suit you. It is in the same vein of what suits others doesn't suit me.
Yeah.
There was a culture underneath the culture that, some gym goers will probably see this as like the quote unquote drama, or the thought process of like, oh no, that person's acting that way because of that like way that they're feeling or how they're doing this. And that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because of being some place that is supposed to be like happy, hungry, and humble. Some people were not living those values. Some people were just kind of, living it in the front, like in the face. And then behind the scenes, just kind of, not doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Or saying what they want to say. Like actions meaning words.
Yeah.
Or words meaning actions.
And were these things that were being said about other people or just things being said in general?
I would say being said in general, or just how some people would act. Like, I don't know if you notice in some classes, I'm obsessed with high five and knuckle bumping. So you got to see that. Some people in those ends would just high five and knuckle bump other people more than others, or, do the subtle like jab here and there. And then suddenly over a table of dinner and something like that, I'm like, oh, I really didn't like this person because they said this, this, and that. And you're like, oh, I thought you actually were really nice to that person, or you really encourage them and stuff.
I know, man. People can be so fake, dude.
But that's the thing, like with anything, and not to fault us, but we're all human. And I think that was also the biggest thing, quote unquote, controversially, if I'm to put something else out there, with the development of the time, like Proven was starting to come out, HWPO was starting to come out, even as I was talking about like with Mayhem and NC Fit was still a thing, then there were different camps that were really starting to come up and explode. So a lot of these things that everybody was looking for is like, oh, I want to be a champion because they built these champions. Captain and Matt left because, well, they weren't being challenged enough from my perspective, or they felt like they needed something else. So
interesting.
At the end of the day, like different strokes for different folks. And if you don't evolve with what is needed for those folks, then sometimes things just have to change. I think one of the things that you've always said to me is that sometimes your environment is what's also going to, dictate how you grow. So if you can't change the environment, change yourself out of the environment.
Yeah. Well, if your environment isn't helping you grow, then you need to change your environment.
What you said.
Yeah, something like that. Something along those lines.
You're really good.
But what's funny that you kind of confirmed what I kind of saw from the outside looking in is not that I never thought comp training wasn't a great program. It's not that all affiliate owners have a ton of respect for Ben and what he's built. And a lot of stuff that I did in my early days was modeled after what was done at New England. It was actually one of the first things I think, one of my first, when I started making that transition over to business, was watching what Ben would say.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is still really good stuff, but I agree with you that kind of over time, you're like, it just kind of stayed like that instead of evolving with the times. And I think that's one of the biggest lessons I think I've learned as a gym owner myself is that, and I learned this just in my own gym, just things change.
Yeah.
And the climate changes and people want different things. Like a big example of this is when people used to come in and they used to always be like, interested in the gym, I'd always be like, this is what we do, this is how we do it. And then instead now it's totally flip-flopped. I'm like, well, what would you like to accomplish? How can I help you get to where you are and get you to where you want to go? And I'll see if I can fill that gap if I'm an expert in that and making it more about them. And that's been really helpful for me because I used to just push across, well, this is how we do it. And then now it's more of like, well, let's do this together. And hopefully my expertise and what I know can get you where you want to go. If not, I will help you find something else. And that's been really helpful because I think a lot of times as coaches and owners, we project what we know and like onto other people. Whereas, for example, I've never had, I have, but very rarely do I have people come into my gym asking to get better at like a snatch or an overhead squat or to go to the CrossFit games. They always come in, the first thing I always ask them that they either want to lose fat or gain muscle. So I'm like, well, what can I do to actually do that, but still use the methodology that I know? Yeah. So that's how I applied it, rather than being like, oh, well, you have to snatch twice a week to get better at snatches. Well, I don't want to snatch. Well, too bad. What do I do? Too bad. Do it or die.
I mean, not to like harp on any of that with the program. I mean, obviously you challenged me with like a controversial opinion, but Harry Powley, the man who was programming like behind the scenes for CompTrain and New England at the time, like he'd been there forever. He's like the behind the scenes, happy, hungriest, and humble man that you will probably ever meet.
Yeah, I know Harry too. He's a great guy because before he went out to New England, I would train with him because he was a Marine down in Pendleton. So he would train at a gym down in South County and I would always see him and dude, he's a great guy. Yeah. 10 out of 10 guy.
10 out of 10. Humblest person you can ever meet and sweetest, softest voice.
Yeah.
For a Marine.
Yeah.
You're like,
I can't believe he's a Marine.
Like you were a Marine?
Well, I mean, it's a guy. He looks like a Marine, but he's like the nicest guy. He's like the friendliest person ever.
Yes. The nicest, most jacked Marine you'll ever see. Also, he's a redhead.
Are we allowed to say that?
I think so. I hope so. Prettiest looking redhead I've ever met.
Yeah. Harry, if you're listening to this, we love you.
We do. I miss you. Please pick up your phone. But the other part too is with that, he was like the programmer. He was the guy that made things and did things that happen. So things like that would be, done and made to be amazing and awesome. And it's just something so simple as like, hey, you got body weight you got to do. Body armor you got to do. You have this extra program.
I remember body armor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I remember what is it? Like ninjas or something?
Yeah.
Ninjas. And yeah, I remember that back in the day.
And they would be also the program that you look at in, what was it? Sugar Watt at the time,
right?
Which is now integrated with push press or its own separate thing. And they would put like thought processes on like what you're thinking about. Like, this is how you need to think about for the day. This is the next thing you have to do for training. So you look at what Mayhem is even doing now. They have Mayhem Faith. They have Mayhem Bodybuilding. They have so many different tracks to it. But everybody's grown and evolved. So everyone is changing and going in the times.
Yeah.
So I was thankful enough to learn from that. It was a very awkward time back in the CrossFit day because that was when they changed the open. And during that time, I got to do Ramadan twice in the same year. So for those of you that don't know Ramadan, it's 30 days of fasting for Muslims. That's the easy way to put it. And during the open, I couldn't eat.
Man, you just bad timing, man, because you couldn't eat in Miami either.
That
was rough. You looked like you weren't eating. Good forward. Anyways, but we did so good. So kind of on that same spectrum. So since you've been coaching, you've been in the game a very long time. I mean, pretty much as long as I have. What's one belief that you used to believe as a coach that you changed?
It's a great question. To align on your thought that you were asking me, not one size fits all, but everyone wants to be part of something.
That's a great way to put it. It's very well said.
Yeah, because I mean, in the way that you were talking about, like trying to get people to do group classes, right? But maybe their need is something specifically like that they'd gain from with personal training or some specific training model. I love teaching group training classes. If I can fill all my classes with 30 plus people every single freaking day, that's like my happiest goal. I like running to every single person. I like coaching and cueing. I like looking into that stuff and making a really bad joke here and there. Hey, they're really good bad jokes. Did you hear mine today?
At least they're appropriate.
I mean, yeah, there are kids around, so I have muted myself quite a bit. But it's in the same way. Like, not one size fits all for everyone in their fitness and their training level, but everyone wants to be part of something. And that's one thing that I have learned from that time, from what I've learned throughout my times in all the different spaces. Because at the end of the day, like, you can call it different things. You can call it the New Age Yacht Club. You can call it like, hanging out at the water cooler and stuff. But everyone wants to be part of a community and a group.
Yeah.
And they want to be driven and helped with each other.
Yeah.
To get to that next level, you have to have specific things. But that's where like a trust and building that emotional bank account come into.
Yeah. No, that's a great answer. And I 100% agree with you because I really do benefit from that group environment because as someone who's done CrossFit for a very long time, it's hard for me to even conjure up the motivation some days or most days, I would say. But then there's also those individual things that I want to work on as well. And that's why I'm really glad that Caitlin programs the Build and Burn because then I can do like work on my pressing because I'm bad at pressing, or I can work on some of my Olympic lifts or just do some bodybuilding stuff on the side, which still complements my CrossFit without overdoing it. And yeah, it's a really good happy medium that I like to do personally. So
shout out to Caitlin for programming way too many single under drag ropes. My double unders totally made sense why they didn't work. But it's fine.
All right.
Just to work on.
No, let's talk about Gym Reaper's Wadapalooza Miami 2026, where we first officially met.
Oh, do you want to talk about our meet cute or whatever we want to call it?
We can talk about whatever you want.
I mean,
anyway, so Abdul and I, we didn't even know each other, but we were on like the calls, the SoCal calls, where we're like they gather the affiliate owners to get feedback for Wadapalooza SoCal, and then that's how Abdul and I were met because we were the few ones who were on almost every call. And then we both got the opportunity to work as equipment leads in Gym Reaper's Wadapalooza Miami in 2026. And that's where we officially met and worked together for the first time, became good friends. So how was that meeting me for the first time in person?
You're missing so many little crucial pieces that you need to throw in there.
Like, but we're at 25 minutes
Oh,
already.
wow. We talk way too much.
No, we can keep going. We'll keep going. Hopefully the camera doesn't turn off.
That's fair.
But yeah, just keep going.
Main thing is meeting you for the first time. It was like meeting my friend that I have, you know what they say about people like constantly like having somebody that you can pick up right where you leave off. We literally just picked right up.
Yeah, it was really easy.
It was very easy.
It was very easy.
It was like middle of the,
It was like we've known each other for years.
so I was like, hey. Like,
Or we're like, let's go eat.
let's go eat some food. It's the middle of the night. Nothing is open.
Yeah, just got into town. We're going to eat.
Yeah.
So I think I already ate, and I was like, no, I gotta hang out with Abdul. So we went out and we got food together.
Got most steaks. So it was great. I honestly felt like, again, it was like we'd been together for the longest time and we wanted to like just pick it right back up where we left off.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, even working together with you, it was like, hey, can you support me here? I can support you there.
Yep.
Hey, what do you need? Hey, what do you need there?
Yeah.
You can even tell everybody about like how you turned off your radio because you wanted to take a quick nap. And then I was like, Matt, we need your help.
And you had to run to the tent and wake me up. The one time I turned off my radio was during the rain delay in Miami. Yes. And I was like, you know what? I could turn off my radio for 15 minutes. Like there's nothing going on. I checked the signal chat. We're just on a delay. That's all I know. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to close my eyes for 15 minutes.
You sent a message. Hey, Abdul, check on me later.
Yeah. I just told Emily and Abdul, I'm like, hey guys, like if anything serious comes up, just come grab me. I'm going to be in the tent. I'm going to take a 15-minute nap. I'm going to turn my radio on again. And then of course something big comes up. And then Abdul comes running into the tent like, we got to go to the back of house. They want us back there. I'm like, the one time I turned off my radio.
Okay.
Then we ran back there.
I mean, it was in the pouring rain too.
Yeah, we ran.
Yeah, we looked really cool with our wet t-shirts.
Yeah, really cool.
I mean,
anyway, so yeah, we met for the first time, which was awesome. And yeah, I think what was really cool about working that with you is that it really does reveal what someone is like, especially because it was high stress, high pressure. We're on a time crunch.
Yep.
We have limited manpower. Like it really reveals of what kind of person you are and how you handle pressure and stress. Because it was a lot. Like, I mean, you had your difficulties on your stage. I had my difficulty, which I don't even really know because I really only know what happened on my stage because I was literally there the entire time. Like, and I was working so much that I didn't even take pictures of video. I think I have like a few pictures of videos during the rain delay.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely have pictures and videos, but it's like pictures and videos of like all my volunteers showcasing them and that kind of stuff. But I mean, I could definitely agree, like walking back and forth from my stage to your stage to the back of the house, it was like miles at a time. My Apple Watch was dying because I was walking so much.
Oh, dude, my Garmin, I think one day I hit like 35,000 steps.
No. So, I mean, it was a lot of work and yeah, we were limited on manpower, but it was such a great event because the power that we did have there with the few volunteers that we did have and the people that we were able to work with, even bouncing off each other, it was great. And again,
it was great.
In stressful environments, we can, grow together.
Yeah. And that's what I really enjoyed about it. And that's actually part of the reason why I took it in the first place. Because I was like, you know what? I want to be around other high achievers. I want to kind of see what other people's leadership styles are. Because I'll obviously have people above me. I'll have to lead. So it was a good test of my leadership and my skills and working with people I've never worked with before. And that's why I like doing things that are challenging and that will make me better. Because I was like, I'm going to win either way. Because if I do terrible at this job, I'll at least learn a lot to become a better person or a better leader. And if I do well, I can still get feedback of what I could have done better or at least get a good test of where I'm currently at.
You said do-do.
Do-do? I'd say that. So what would you say was your best experience of that weekend?
Best experience was honestly the people. I'm such a sucker for people.
That's such a cliche thing to say.
It really is, but
it's true though. I would agree with you.
It is. Like I got to meet you. I got to meet Emily. I got to meet freaking Mikey. I got to meet Julie. And then after that, even my volunteers. I had like Merrick. I had everyone there that came from different walks of life. I had a guy that is an Irishman that lives in Miami that was like, I need to make sure that I get here and have the best time. And then I had two married couples that now are like lifelong friends because they both volunteered together and now actually like visiting each other from like Tampa to like the middle of the country. And so looking at that kind of stuff to be able to high five and knuckle bump those people, and then the signal chat that you talked about and our private one just continuing to pop up where people are coming in. I have a member or a person in that chat. Her name is Suyun. like Suyun from Russia.
Oh yeah, I follow her on Instagram. We follow each other. Yeah, after we met at after the event here.
Yeah, and like not to blow the mic out, but everybody was like Suyun, just like Jackie Chan and you know Chris Tucker in the movie, and because it's a thing where we all came together camaraderie wise. So
Right.
the people is where it's at.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree with that. I couldn't have said that better myself. And a huge part of it was obviously meeting you, and was meeting especially Emily. And it's so funny how technically, even with Emily, for you and I, we were all with her for 3 days, and then we were done. And then we talk every week. Like we'll FaceTime, we'll hop on calls,
Yeah.
we'll text all the time in our group chat. And I think that just goes to show that how sometimes something that can be really intense is actually really good for developing bonds and friendship like that, which makes it even more special. And yeah, I mean, I can't imagine not doing it. Looking back, I'm like, I can't imagine not taking that and not meeting people who I met.
Yeah. And I mean, shameless plug for this year at Huntington Beach. If y'all want to volunteer, that is the time. Right now, they're taking volunteers, and the volunteer packages, even if that's incentive enough for you, it's huge.
Yeah.
Wadapalooza does a great job of taking care of their volunteers, 3-day volunteers, 4-day volunteers. You get a great and amazing experience. And I mean, it's work. It's hard work, but it's also a great time.
Yeah. I mean, essentially, you're going to get a free backstage pass to the largest fitness festival in the world. And
Yeah.
and I 100% agree with Abdul. So we don't know what's in the volunteer package, so we're not going to say anything, obviously. But
This year.
But I do remember seeing the volunteers get their stuff, and I got my stuff. I'm like, holy crap, like this is almost too much. Because this is how am I going to get this home?
I literally carried my carry-on with my carry-on because I don't actually check a bag. So I had to make it look like my carry-on was my second thing. I made my carry-on look like my Merce.
Yeah. I actually legitimately told Caitlin, I'm like, bring less stuff because I have stuff to take home.
Yes.
So I'll have like bags that you can put stuff in. So just whatever. Anyway, that was awesome. Yeah, I'd say my favorite experience of the whole weekend was selfishly for me.
Yeah.
Because I put myself into a situation where I wasn't 100% comfortable, but I was like, I want to help because Emily reached out to me personally, and I was like, you know what, I want to help because I like Emily a lot, I like Dylan a lot, like Stacy a lot, so I'm like, I'm gonna help them out because they helped me out. And then
those people that run Wadapalooza.
Yeah, they run Wadapalooza, and so I went out there, had a great time. And like meeting Mikey and everything was great. But selfishly, the best part of it for me was really developing myself and developing my leadership in situations where I had to make decisions, very tough decisions very quickly. And it was on me. And I even put that in my after action report that I took responsibility for certain things that did go wrong on my stage personally. And I took personal responsibility for that. And it was the first time I've had to do that in a while, but I'm like, I'd rather take the responsibility than not do it at all.
Yeah.
And
you're not hiding from anything.
What?
You're not hiding from anything. You're actually taking full ownership. That's a huge growth opportunity.
Well, like for example, there was a situation that came up where the barbells were getting way too hot, and I agree it was way too hot. The jump ropes were getting hot because the rubber and everything. It was on Saturday, and I made the call to not put like either rags over the jump ropes or the pool noodles because we were also behind schedule. So we're like 20 minutes behind schedule. We're making up almost 90 seconds per heat because we are hammering the transitions. We are rushing our volunteers. Like our volunteers were thin, and we're just pushing as hard as we could to get back on schedule. And then, that was my call. So, and there was a lot of appeals for that apparently. But yeah, I was not happy with my, with how that was working out I was like, oh man, that was my call. But I did what I could, what I had. And yeah, I mean, obviously working with everybody, like you said, I don't need to reiterate that, but obviously Mikey, Emily, you, I mean, the other stage leads and everyone on my stage was actually great. I really enjoyed just being on the one stage the entire time.
Yeah.
And kind of being isolated because I just assumed that my stage was the worst because I was just there. I'm like, oh wait, there's 5 other ones going on that I don't even know about. I totally forgot about that because I was so focused on the equipment and everything there.
I mean, to paint a picture a little bit for everybody, these stages are literally like grandstand stages. So where he got to work was just a whole stage that had 20 lanes where people would just approach. You'd have like either teams of 2, single persons, and that would be their stage. There's a DJ bumping music. You got an MC
screen. Yeah, it's huge.
And that's one of, would Miami have 5 stages?
I think there were 6 including Gauntlet.
6 including.
And then if you want to include like the USAW stage and the grappling stage, I mean, The open stage was 40 lanes, and Lorena was working that one.
Yeah. And I mean, even my own stage was the beach stage, and, sun and sand, and like every single person, like just coming to that stage. Oh man, 150-pound sandbags, moving those.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Yeah. I will say that if you haven't had a chance to go and check out the flagship in Miami of Jim Ripper's Wadapalooza, 10 out of 10, highly recommend. It is huge.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't believe how big it was, and I've been there before in 2025 as a spectator, and it was awesome. Like the exhibitors are great. It's huge. It's like how they laid it out was great. Like you feel like you're at something that's pretty much bigger than the CrossFit Games. I think it was bigger than Albany when they were in Albany. I mean, I didn't go to Albany, but I know that like when I spectated 2009 CrossFit Games, and it's definitely bigger than that. And it was bigger than 2010 because I went to, well, it's actually probably bigger than those early days of the CrossFit Games themselves.
I mean, the arena in Del Mar is my biggest experience technically, and that arena was one stage.
Yeah. So imagine that arena, if you know our reference point is 5 times the size, at least. Huge. Not including like the warm-up area, the athlete village, and volunteer village. Yeah, it's a huge venue.
They take care of a lot of athletes, a lot of people that are going there, and a lot of times people are also looking at this in the way of like, okay, Wadapalooza is just for the elites. They have multiple divisions. They have your open division, they have your intermediate division, they have your ARCS division, they have your elite division, and then the pros.
Yeah, the adaptives were one of my favorites. The adaptives are huge. I love adaptives. Yeah, that was probably my favorite part of my stage, was watching the adaptives.
Yeah. So like there is so much catered to all the people that get to go there. So being able to see this amazing spectacle of fitness, it's not just about like CrossFit and stuff like that. It's just literally a celebration of fitness that's culminated in years and years of hard work.
Yeah.
So we got to be part of something that is huge. And again, this year we get to be part of it again.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm very excited for Jim Reaper's Wadapalooza SoCal in 2026. We can't really reveal anything because we're not allowed to, but it's going to be different in a good way. It's definitely going to be bigger than last year. And I think it's almost already sold out in terms of registrations. I think there may be some like Masters team spots still open, and maybe some team divisions. So if you guys are into that, definitely check that out. Tickets at the time of this recording, early bird pricing is probably already up at the time of this recording. Oh, no, it's almost 24 hours from the time of this recording. Yeah. So unfortunately, by now, if you're listening to this, you probably missed it. But yeah, definitely get tickets for it. If not, and then yeah, we're always looking for volunteers. Fun fact, Abdul and I are helping with the SoCal gym tour, and that's going to culminate. We're just touring all the gyms, and we're just promoting the event, and then my gym is gonna host the wrap up event, which is going to be in at the beach.
Yep.
And Rain will be there. There'll be some fun stuff, some games, some workouts. Yeah, all that fun stuff.
He's got north part of SoCal, and I've got the south part of SoCal.
Yeah,
San Diego.
It's a long San.
Which
are you allowed to say that? This is a family friendly podcast.
Isn't that a dictionary word? I don't know. Run Burgundy.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this year. I think it's going to be a great year. It's going to be a third year that they did it, and that Wadapalooza is going to be here, and it's going to be off the hook as it usually is.
It's a big party for fitness, and if you like watching really fit people do really hard things, huge.
Yeah, awesome. So I mean, you competed in Waza SoCal in 2024, correct? Not last year.
2024, the
Fuchs 2025. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I compete in 2025. So tell me about your 2024 experience competing.
I didn't want to. Shamelessly, I did not want to. At the time, one of our coaches was really, really adamant on building Wadapalooza for us and getting teams there. And I am, gym owner and, supporter of like my community. So I wanted to go ahead and push that and help out. And one of our teams needed a third. So I said, I can be a third. And the way that it was set up, where it worked out that we, got to work out, and the stage was beautiful and it was amazing. They knew how to line people up. They were setting everybody up for things.
Yeah, it was very organized.
The whole back room and back area, we were able to bring all of our teams together, all of our people together, and even gave like hotel blocks for certain people to reserve at the hotel so you can have an easier time to get to the venue.
Mm-hmm.
So exceeded my expectations, especially with somebody who was huffing and puffing a little bit. I was like, I got to train for this. But once you got out on the floor, even if you did all the training, even if you did all the other stuff, it was a good time because you were looking left, looking right, and you had other people who were just having a good time training. It was almost like you were in a group class setting in
Yeah.
a way, but
You
you were
really
turning it
comfortable
up.
with people towards the end.
Yeah. And you were turning it up, you were having a good time. And I mean, this is me and my own mentality. I'm not going to let somebody win. So we were in contention for the podium. And I was like, boys, I know I've been saying it all weekend, and we're not going to, just hang out and sit idly by and let those guys win.
Yeah.
We're good friends now, but we're not going to let them win.
No, I'm so glad you had a good experience. And I remember I spectated in 2024, and I was kind of 50-50 on it. I said the same thing in Joshy P's podcast, is that I was 50-50 on it just because I kind of gotten out of the whole competing thing. Ever since regionals left, I've been kind of like not anti-competing, but just like I'm just going to focus on the gym, competing secondary, because let's be real, doesn't really bring in any kind of monetary value. And then once 2024 hit, we had a handful of people compete. And then I just saw how well done it was, how good it looked, and how good of it. And then they all had an amazing experience. And then I think we like 4x'd it, or 5x, no, 6x'd it.
Yeah.
6x'd how many people competed the following year.
He said,
and we have the same amount. And then we have the same amount of people competing this year, which is great. I mean, I kind of lowered those numbers because I'm not competing, because I'm going to be there at the venue though. And
I do both.
I can't do both.
Sean's doing both.
Sean is doing both, but Sean's a Superman.
Yes.
Anyway. I had a very similar experience where I was like, I want to get on the action too, because I just saw how 2024 went. And so I did 2025. But before that, I spectated 2025 Miami because Caitlin, that's when I saw the flagship and I was like, oh my God. And I remember that Dylan saying specifically that he wanted his obviously his goal is to make it SoCal just as big as Miami. And I'm like, wow, if that's your vision, like I better compete now. Before I can't. And so I competed in 2025, had a great time, and I had such a good experience because it brought back all those feelings that I had when I did compete in 2014, 2012, 2013 era of the golden years. And I was like, man, got the exact same vibe, exact same feeling, exact same experience. And I'm like, wow, I want more people to have this, because people don't have this kind of experience in competitions anymore, especially something like as inclusive as Wadapalooza. So when I competed and I wrapped up and had a great time, I loved the organization, loved how well everything went. I mean, nothing goes 100% perfectly, but as a whole, like,
it's pretty 9 out of 10.
With how many athletes they pumped through and how many divisions, like, I'm actually genuinely impressed. But that way and then after that, it was a no-brainer to go and help in Miami, because I didn't qualify. I did the qualifier, and I was like, I got pretty wrecked, and I'm like, man, these people are pretty fit
They know what they're doing. I got a couple things to say on that because you brought up a couple points. Fun fact, for those listening, I met his wife while she was working out.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. When she was on the beach day, and you sent me the video.
I sent Matt multiple videos. I'm like, look, she's working out, even though she's got a broken foot-ish. She's crushing in. And she's like, who's this guy yelling at me to get back up? So it's kind of funny, kind of hilarious.
It's funny that you met my wife like that on the stage. I say I work out.
Yeah, she did really great. And I mean, I also would oppose you a little bit on what you're saying, that it wasn't a monetary poll. I guess I would call it like more or less a retention poll for members and stuff. Because one of the things that I noticed with Wadapalooza and pushing my members to try it again and do it again is that it's similar to the things that are popping up right now with the hybrid races and with the different things that you can do. This is something that people can compete for a goal. This is something that people can actually aim towards.
Oh, yeah.
And it's attainable and it's inclusive enough, as you said, where they can do something about it.
Yeah.
And it's not out of the question to sign up for the open division, sign up for the intermediate division, the RX, or even elite as you've aimed for it. But that's the thing. Like, our members, they do come in for the day-to-day.
Yeah.
The members come in to work out, get better, get stronger, but why not also give yourself a goal to reach towards?
No, I thank you for bringing that up, because that's a great point. And I did notice that when I registered in 2025 to compete, that it was great to have a goal, and especially a long goal, because I registered, I think, in March when they released it to SoCal. And then, so I had something to train for. And then, so it was really fun going. I went back through all like the old Miami workouts. We always, like, I think once a week at least, we plugged in like an old Miami workout, or at least modified it to where we could do it in class. And that was really fun. And side note, but I really like Wadapalooza style of their events because I like how there's just enough to where it's hard enough and there's enough skill work, but they also don't get too gimmicky with skills. And that's one thing that I did not like that CrossFit transitioned to with all like the super high skill stuff and what that you saw in like the games.
You don't like parallettes?
I don't like parallettes. I don't mind it, but it's like CrossFit is a fitness
Yes.
program / competition.
GP.
So it should still be like, they just find to throw that in. And I know that's a part of fitness, agility, balance, coordination, whatever, flexibility.
You can keep going if you want to say.
I don't want to say all of them. I'm not going to. It's not an L1. Anyway, I'm not opposed to that because, I love the Olympic lifts. I love, high skill stuff, but I just don't think it should be as much, it shouldn't be overbearing. And so that's why I think that they really do a good job of holding true in their programming to just standard CrossFit, but throwing in some nice twists in there to where it's not boring either.
Makes it accessible.
Yeah, it's very inclusive, which is what I like. And even Caitlin does this because she's more competitive than I am now. She doesn't even do the open. She just focuses on Wadapalooza. She's like, it's Miami and SoCal. Like that's her CrossFit games to her because she likes the programming better. She likes that she gets to just do like an online qualifier from Miami and then she can go.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to go through all these different loops and she thinks it's very well run and I do too. So that's why.
She doesn't like stages. She just wants to get to it and get to it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Just do the code. So anything else you want to say about your experience in either GR Waza Miami or SoCal?
Everyone should try to go. Even as somebody who kicked his feet, everyone should try to go.
Yeah.
It's an experience. It's fun. It's a vacation technically. And if you're like us and you like to watch people do fitness and watch people like to enjoy their fitness, this is an event for you.
Yeah.
But it's something that, I'm not saying go now, book your ticket, go to Miami from San Diego and stuff. But if you can drive up locally from San Diego to Huntington Beach, it's an hour and a half, maybe without traffic. And you can just book an Airbnb and you can hang out, see what the fitnesses are doing. And then you can go around Huntington Beach and hang out with like the local touristy spots. Who does that anymore? This is one of those opportunities where you can make it a staycation too.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say just try it.
Yeah, no, and I agree. And taking it from Abdul and myself, who Abdul didn't want to compete in 2024. I was like 50-50 about the event overall itself. And now look at us.
Yeah, we're like, it's fun.
Yeah, it's really fun. And then I think that once more people experience this, and they're gonna have that same bug.
Yeah.
And they're gonna get hooked on it too, just like how we have. So anyway, appreciate you coming on, Abdul.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Until next time, good luck, have fun, and nailed it.
First try.